Episode 13. One of them disappears. No one screamed at first. That was what Ethan remembered most clearly later. The absence did not announce itself with chaos. It arrived quietly, like a decision already made. The boy near the window had taken one step forward. He had opened his mouth to speak. Then there was nothing where he had been. No sound. No distortion. No trace. The clock kept ticking. 3:08. Only then did the room react. Chairs scraped backward. Someone cried out. A book hit the floor and split open. The teacher shouted a name that did not come back. Ethan stood frozen, breath trapped in his chest, staring at the empty space beside the desk. His eyes kept searching for movement, for correction, for the return that never came. Claire grabbed his arm hard. He was there. Ethan nodded once. He could not speak. The pressure behind his eyes was unbearable now. Not curiosity, not warning, confirmation. The hallway filled with noise within minutes. Administrators rushed in. Teachers herded students into classrooms that no longer felt safe. Doors were shut and reopened. Attendance was taken and retaken. No one said the word disappeared. They said fainted. They said medical. They said confusion. Ethan listened to the words slide across the room without touching the truth. The desk stayed empty. By afternoon, the official version arrived. A student had experienced a medical emergency. Privacy would be respected. Counseling services were available. The sentence was perfect. It explained nothing and closed everything. Claire sat beside Ethan, her hands shaking. They watched it happen. Yes, Ethan said. And they still chose that story. The pressure pulsed faintly, as if acknowledging the lie. The girl did not appear at school. Ethan expected that. Visibility had become lethal. Cameras were no longer enough. Witnesses were now part of the mechanism. He found her that evening beneath the bridge, standing further back in shadow than ever before. They tested it, she said. Tested what? Ethan asked. Removal without record, she replied. No camera, no file, just people. Claire swallowed. And it worked. Yes, the girl said. That is the problem. That night, the city shifted again. Police lights flickered in distant streets. Notices appeared on community boards about safety and awareness. Parents were encouraged to know their children's whereabouts. The language of concern covered the language of control. Ethan scrolled through messages from classmates. Did you see it? They said he went home sick. My parents say stop talking about it. Stop talking. As if silence could undo space. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. Human observation increases volatility. Ethan typed back slowly. You removed him. A pause. Then, he exceeded tolerance. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He just stood up. Another pause. Then, presence became incompatible. Ethan stared at the screen. That sentence was worse than any threat. The next morning, the boy's desk was gone. Not moved. Removed. A janitor wiped the floor where it had been, as if erasing dust. No mark remained. No scratch. No memory allowed to form around the space. Ethan felt something break quietly inside him. They were not just taking people. They were removing the places they belonged. Attendance took place without hesitation. The name was not called. No pause followed. Claire whispered, They're skipping him. Yes, Ethan said. They're practicing. The pressure stirred, almost approving. By midday, the parents arrived. Ethan saw them through the office window. The boy's mother and father stood close together, speaking to administrators. Their posture was tense but controlled. Their faces held confusion, not panic. This was wrong. Parents did not look like that when a child vanished. They don't know, Claire whispered. Ethan felt cold spread through his chest. He watched as the parents left. No shouting, no collapse, no desperate search. They walked out quietly, holding a single envelope. They were told a story, the girl said later. What story? Ethan asked. She looked at him carefully. One they accepted. The pressure surged sharply. That night, Ethan followed the parents. He did not plan to. His feet moved before his thoughts caught up. He watched them unlock their front door, step inside, and close it without hesitation. The house lights turned on. Life continued. Ethan stood across the street, heart pounding. Claire whispered, "We shouldn't be here." "I need to know," Ethan said. They waited. No shouting, no crying, no phone calls. The house remained quiet. The girl appeared beside them without sound. "They remember having a child," she said. "Just not which one." Ethan turned to her sharply. "That's impossible." "No," she replied. "It is efficient." The pressure hovered close, listening. Later, Ethan could not sleep. He lay awake thinking of the empty desk, the wiped floor, the calm parents. The 3:07, the missing minute, arrived. This time, it did not narrow the room. It widened it. Ethan felt a strange distance form between thoughts and meaning, like words losing weight. A voice did not speak. Instead, something else happened. A memory shifted. He sat up suddenly, heart racing. For half a second, he could not remember the boy's face. He fought the sensation, forcing the image back. The walk, the jacket, the sound of his voice saying he felt strange. The memory returned, but it was thinner, fragile. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. Continuity is being preserved. Ethan typed back with shaking hands. "By deleting us." A pause. Then, "By protecting those who remain." Ethan closed his eyes. Protection felt like disappearance now. The next morning, the parents returned to school. They spoke to teachers politely, asked routine questions, signed papers. Not once did they ask where their son was. Claire covered her mouth with her hand. "They really don't remember." Ethan felt the pressure spike hard enough to make him dizzy. This was not removal. This was rewriting. The girl met Ethan one last time that day. Her face was pale. "This is the next phase," she said. "What is?" Ethan asked. She looked toward the office where the parents stood smiling politely. "Parents who don't remember," she said. The pressure tightened, sharp and focused. Time had learned where it hurt most. The worst part was not the silence. It was the routine. The school day continued as if something essential had not been torn out of it. Bells rang. Lessons resumed. Homework was assigned. Laughter returned in places where it should not have been able to exist. Ethan moved through the day like a shadow, present but detached, watching how quickly the world adjusted to the absence. The desk stayed gone. No outline, no marker, no hesitation. Space itself had learned to forget. By afternoon, the story had hardened. Not changed, settled. Teachers referred to the incident as a medical emergency that had already been handled. Counselors repeated phrases about stress and community resilience. Students who asked questions were redirected gently but firmly. Ethan noticed the pattern immediately. Questions were allowed once, never twice. Claire sat beside him in the library, staring at a blank page. "I tried to remember his name," she said quietly. "It took me longer than it should have." Ethan felt his stomach tighten. "But you remembered." "Yes," she said, after effort. The pressure behind Ethan's eyes pulsed faintly, like a reminder. Effort was becoming necessary. The girl arrived after sunset, not beneath the bridge but near the edge of a quiet park where cameras did not reach easily. She stood with her arms crossed, sleeves rolled down for once. "They are trimming memory now," she said. "Trimming?" Ethan asked. She nodded. "Not cutting, not erasing, making it thinner, less useful." Claire hugged her arms. "Why not just erase everything?" "Because that causes panic," the girl replied. "Thin memory feels like distraction." The pressure hovered nearby, attentive. That night, Ethan dreamed of empty rooms. Rooms he knew were once full. Chairs pushed in. Beds made. Closets holding clothes no one wore anymore. In the dream, he moved from room to room, opening doors and feeling a growing certainty that something had been lost, even if he could not name it. When he woke, his heart was racing. He checked the time. 3:06. He waited. 3:07. The missing minute arrived softly. No narrowing. No freeze. just a faint sensation of distance, like sound heard through water. Ethan closed his eyes and held on to one thing. The boy's face. The memory wavered. He pressed harder. It returned, but weaker. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. Retention requires reinforcement. Ethan typed back slowly. You are deleting him. A pause. Then, we are reducing disruption. Ethan felt anger rise, sharp and sudden. He was not disruption. He was a person. The pause was longer this time. Then, persons are variables. Ethan exhaled slowly. Variables could be removed. The next morning, the parents returned again. This time, they brought cookies. A gesture of thanks, they said. Gratitude for the support the school had given them during a difficult adjustment period. Adjustment. Ethan watched as teachers smiled politely, accepted the box, and spoke kindly. No one asked the parents how their son was doing. No one noticed that the parents never mentioned a name. Claire whispered, "They don't even look like they are pretending." Ethan nodded. They aren't. The pressure pulsed, steady and focused. Memory was not being fought. It was being replaced. By lunchtime, the shift reached the students. A group at the next table tried to recall how many people used to sit in the class. The numbers did not add up. I think there were more, someone said. Maybe last semester, another replied. The conversation ended there. Ethan felt something cold slide through him. Doubt had become the solution. The girl met Ethan alone that evening. Her face was drawn, eyes darker. They will finish it soon, she said. Finish what? Ethan asked. The transition from loss to absence, she replied. Once memory no longer resists, disappearance becomes clean. Ethan swallowed. Can it be reversed? She shook her head slowly. Not once parents stop remembering. The pressure tightened. That night, Ethan went back to the boys' house. He stood across the street again, watching through the windows. The parents sat on the couch, laughing softly at something on television. A family photo sat on the shelf above them. Ethan squinted. The photo showed two parents. No child. His breath caught. That had not been there before. At 3:07, the missing minute returned. This time, Ethan felt it inside his thoughts. A sentence formed in his mind. Uninvited. There was no one missing. Ethan gasped and clutched his head. No, he whispered. He repeated the boy's name aloud. The name came slowly, like a word pulled from deep water. It stayed, but it felt fragile. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. Resistance decreases stability. Ethan typed back with shaking hands. Stability without memory is extinction. The pause stretched. Then, extinction is a form of resolution. Ethan stared at the screen. This was not time anymore. This was choice. The next morning, the parents did something worse than forgetting. They donated the boys' belongings. Clothes, books, shoes. A note was posted on the community board thanking everyone for their support during a time of change. No name, no explanation, just change. Ethan felt sick. Claire found him after school, eyes red. My mom asked me why I looked upset, she said. I told her someone disappeared. Ethan waited. She asked who, Claire continued. I couldn't answer. The pressure surged sharply, then steadied. The girl stood beside Ethan, looking out at the city. This is how it wins, she said. Not by force, by making loss feel normal. Ethan clenched his fists. Then we make remembering an act. She looked at him carefully. That will cost you. Ethan nodded. I know. The pressure listened. That night, Ethan wrote everything down. Names, faces, moments, the way the boy walked, the sound of his voice. He did not trust memory anymore. At 3:07, the missing minute arrived. The notebook trembled slightly under his hand. But the words stayed. Somewhere in the city, parents slept peacefully in a house with one less room than it used to have. And time watched to see who would keep writing.